If Freelee's taking me out of context, saying I'm abusive, etc. She's just got a really bad temper, man.
It seems official now that Harley and Freelee have broken up. Now, they mentioned that they did break up about a year ago. This time is different.
I've had a lot of fighting and sparring. I'm used to getting hit, but when you're getting hit by someone you love, and the truth is, man, she was so abusive to me. She used to hit me.
Almost a year ago, Harley made a video where he was talking about inner game and relationships. The two of them have been talking about how great their relationship is for years, as a way of getting the people out there to go vegan. And the inner game thing, inner qualities, as opposed to the way you look, and promoting the idea of finding a vegan partner. I want to mention that I do not do relationships or any friendships. That might be part of the reason why I was irritated. They're selling this perfect image and saying that this is what vegans can have. Well, me being a vegan and avoiding relationships because of the trouble. Yeah, you can imagine how irritating that was for me, because I've been about inner game for decades now. But another thing is that I focus too much on inner game, and my outer game was really bad for most of my life. I also wanted to say more about my outer game being bad. Now, I fixed up the parts that I can, but there are some areas that you just don't have control over, and that I brought up in a recent video about male body shaming, where in the comments, guess what I got? So it's nice to think that people could focus on inner game when choosing a partner, but that's just not reality. And what's worse is society is making it worse. Society is giving us all these images of what people are supposed to look like. People's idea of what people are supposed to look like keeps going up, while people's inner game keeps going down. Here's an example of what we see on TV and the internet.
That's how you got that six-pack. There's a six-pack. Let me see this.
I wasn't prepared for this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so forget about embarrassing me.
This has become a trend. Men's six-pack, men's big muscles, and all ripped and no body fat, which, just like women, is a temporary thing that they're showing you. They prepared for these photo shoots and videos and TV appearances.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Because of all these unnatural men taking off their shirts, all the regular men don't take off their shirts. So all we see is this crazy, extreme image of men. Meanwhile, on the female side, society is catering to the average woman, saying that you're perfectly fine having a regular body. They don't say that with men. And there's another thing I remember on a Freelee video 2 years ago. I recalled this when Harley said that Freelee was cheating. Freelee had said a couple of years ago that she prefers men with big muscles, as if that's a surprise. But she was saying that in the context of one of those videos about inner game and relationships. What she was actually saying is she was telling all the women in her audience not to just go after these attributes like big muscles and the square jaw and the ripped pecs. And I could also add tall men and all this stuff that shouldn't be important if you know what you're doing. Talk about inner game. And I remember her mentioning that the soft skin of vegans makes up for the lack of muscle that we have. So yeah, that's a good message. But now I'm wondering, because this cheating supposedly happened a year ago, and who knows, maybe it goes back even further. And see, that's the problem I'm talking about. This inner game thing isn't really going to work, because most people stay in their lower brain and they're going to go for the big muscles. Because the female libido has been corrupted by these unnatural muscle men, and we've seen how they react. Saying that if a relationship is focused on inner game, then it will be good. Like theirs is, it'll be good. And now look at it. And just maybe you've pieced this all together now and figured out why I don't do relationships or hang out with people much. It's because I'm the opposite of a psychopath. I'm much more sensitive than the average person, and so people bother me more. They bother me enough from a distance that it keeps me from forming any relationships. Okay, when I went out on the bike, I had forgotten to watch an essential video for this, and that's Harley's latest video, just up yesterday. He said it was a tough video to make. It sure was tough to watch. I'm one of the foremost experts in Harley and Freelee here, because I've stuck around the whole time. So you might want to hear my opinion on what I think of the video, like if it's true. You know, I haven't heard the other side, of course. But in my expert opinion, I would say I tend to believe this video. Of course, he has taught us to realize that just because what's being said is true doesn't mean it's the whole truth, and that can make a big difference. There could be half-truths here. There's always two versions of a story, and then there's the truth in the middle. Here's a clip of him, what I'm talking about.
And the truth is, man, she was so abusive to me. She used to hit me a lot. And I'd hit her back. You know, I think if you're gonna hit like a man, then you gotta get hit back. And I never ever hit Freelee in the face. I never ever used any more force than was needed. I'm just say, fuck, this is not acceptable behaviour. Control your anger. She's just got a really bad temper, man. Ask her brothers. We'd have our arguments, and then she'd end up just coming at me. You know, she'd scratch me so hard in my arms, you know, they'd bleed. And then last year in Chiang Mai.
Now, I actually could have predicted this in a video. Not physical abuse. That was a total shock to me. But I've had the prediction for a couple of years that Freelee doesn't really like Harley, and they probably have a lot of hostility between them. And here's 3 examples in videos they've done together. Now, a lot of people over the years have assumed that Harley would be the problem in this relationship. It's an easy assumption. And of course, there's the way he acts in his videos. But more recently, I've started to think differently than that. And throughout all the videos I've seen of them, I have seen some hints, some things I didn't like, and I would push them aside because I watched their videos, and I don't want to feel negatively about people that I'm watching their videos. So I would overlook certain things. But I recall these things, and it's mostly Freelee. I'm sorry to say. Just disappointed. This is really disturbing. This is even hard for me to see their breakup, because I've grown attached to them over the many years. And Freelee seems to be real nice on the surface, ethical and passionate about the ethics here. And like I said before, and Harley said here, I said it before I saw his video, that you just don't do that with someone you're in a relationship with. I do recall specifically, recently, they're both in a video, they're both talking over each other. In the middle of a sentence, she said, "Dum-dums here." And Harley said, "I'm dum-dums?" Maybe that's how she jokes around, but you know, if I put myself in the position, I would never do that to someone I'd be in a relationship with. If I was Harley there, that would disturb me. 2 years ago, I always remembered this because I'm a sensitive person, and this one just really bothered me. Bothered me so much, I just chose to ignore it, but I couldn't forget it. You know, when they're often in videos, Harley's acting really goofy, and Freelee gets irritated by it. And I was thinking maybe this is some kind of Australian version of a joke. But it's still just not something you say. She said, "That's Harley. You can't live with him. You can't kill him." Word for word. I remember it. Now, isn't that more than just playing around? That's kind of a bad sign there. Like a commenter said under Harley's videos, I don't have hate for Freelee. Of course, I'm looking out at a distance. I think she should get help. I think it would help her and other people. I think it's time to bring back a song. Here's some more news about them. Their website, 30 Bananas a Day, is offline. It says it's down for maintenance, but you never know what's going on there. This is just a really interesting thing that happened here. On YouTube, I did a search using the term Durianrider to find his channel. Durianrider and his channel there. And there's two ads up on top. Look at this one. YouTube works in mysterious ways, I guess. Okay, to shift here a little bit, I really wanted to mention a video I made 2 days ago. This was a spectacular video. Although it didn't start out that way, it was completely spontaneous, which is pretty unusual for me. But as I got to editing the video, it just got better and better, and it all came together like magic. I don't like to toot my own horn here, but actually I don't need to in this case, because some comments that came in, best commentary on Trump I have seen. The video really isn't about Donald Trump. I used him as a catalyst to talk about mental health and relationships. I went on for like 10 minutes about how to avoid certain people. People get into a lot of trouble in their lives by not recognizing these type of people, and Trump is a perfect example. And he's in the news every single day for the last year. This video could help people dramatically, and this video would go viral if someone popular made the video. This just has to get out there for it to pick up. So if you care about humanity, you've got to watch this video, give it a thumbs up, and then you've got to share it, and it helps to comment on the video too. And come to think of it, yes, the video is entertaining too, because it's so powerful, the way it worked out. A whole bunch of clips. Everything just worked perfectly in order. Yeah, the best commentary. This was spectacular. This is the kind of thing you'd see on TV and go, wow. Another commenter here said, great commentary indeed! Exclamation point. Great job, Gary! Exclamation point. They're serious. You've got to see this. And also, it serves another benefit for the word to get out about Donald Trump, who could become the most powerful person on the planet. Like I was saying last week, we have to become politically involved, because what's going on outside of our vegan community here is the larger world here, which is headed for disaster. We have to get involved.